Hey, it's Senna, the Crazy Geek Crafter, and I have made this birthday pop-up card using the lawn fawn dies in craft and a bit in some pattern paper from Panduro, which is, as far as I know, discontinued, and I do not know the name of the paper either. But it's this nice turquoise color with some glittery stars on it. I kept the colors in greens, blues, and browns. Brown craft colors. I am using a mixture of tape and liquid glue for the box. I have noticed that sometimes the tabs on the inside come undone when I just use the square tape, so I switched to liquid glue. Unfortunately, I forgot to put the tabs inside the box. So I have to fiddle with it, but then again, when you're using liquid glue, it's a bit easier to wiggle it into place. I made 3 free tabs, and I figured I was only gonna use 2, but I always cut 3 just in case, and luckily for me, I will need it later on. This box is for a friend of mine whose birthday is coming up. I hope she'll like it. She's normally not much of a fan of birthdays, her own especially. She loves to celebrate others though, but we make a point of celebrating her every year, trying to improve her experience of her birthday. And here are the panels, bit of glue, and they are in place. It's gonna take a bit, but that's just the way crafting goes, I guess. I think I spent 1.5 hours making this box, maybe 2, with all the cutting I did before I started the video. But when you're crafting, time just moves very differently. That's odd, isn't it? It almost runs as fast as when I'm making videos. That is just... it's almost meditational. Well, maybe I'm just odd that way. But I do love editing. I should be coming up on the last few panels here. Now for the back side, I cut a larger rectangle with a piece from... it's the large stackables from Lawn Fawn, so I'd have a place to write the sentiment. For decorations, I'll be using the MFT Birdie Brown Berry Special Birthday. I made these 2 bears and some balloons, and I colored them in with some alcohol markers. I didn't videotape them since I was doing it sitting on the couch, enjoying a bit of TV. I also decided to make a banner in the background using the dies from the Scalloped pop-up box set. And I'll assemble that first with a piece of silver embroidery floss for the string. I know there's a die for a curved piece of cardstock that you can use, but I wanted a string. I thought it would make it more fun. Since I also cut off the strings of all the balloons, and I'm gonna add them in later, this will be very... I lost the word. Sorry. Well, it will match the balloons, the string on the banner here and the balloons. And the glue holds it perfectly. It's amazing. I end up putting 5 of these triangles on the little string. Because of that, the brain prefers odd numbers for some odd reason. Now to glue it in, I'm gonna use liquid glue, and that's why I have these little pegs to keep the cardstock to the tab in the box. Then I don't have to hold it, I can just leave it there. It actually dries quite quickly. I couldn't even move it much at this point. So. And then I'll put in my bears. No, not yet. I have to make the balloons and this bear with the balloon, since I prefer to cut the bear right up to the black line. The string was cut off. So he gets a new one in silver, and then I use a piece of acetate for holding up the balloon. It'll be hard to see. I use quite a bit of acetate for this card. I really enjoy the effect it gives. There's the acetate. I hope you can see it. This is actually, it's a bit thicker than acetate. It's from it's the excess from laminating. I often keep it because I know it's good for these kind of things. It's just that little bit more sturdy. Just fiddling around with the glue, making it look nice. And then I'll need to do the balloons. I really hope you can see what I'm doing, but I'm putting in glue and then I'm pressing the embroidery floss into the glue, making sure it gets covered completely, making sure it won't run away on me. I did use maybe a bit too much glue for this part, because the acetate won't let the moisture move much. It has to go out through the paper to dry up. But it looked nice in the end, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. Just they were a bit disfigured for a few minutes while it was drying. I am cutting off the excess acetate, and I cut off the candles on this bear. I didn't want to fussy cut them. So details for the eyes and the nose with the jelly roll pen, and I believe the wink of Stella will be entering. Yes. Now this is why I bought alcohol markers, because making a wink of Stella cover on a watercolor piece is it's a challenge. It's a challenge, I'd say. This was so much easier. So I'll be showing you my pens. Don't worry. I wouldn't say I'm at a place where I can teach others how to use them. I should probably learn it myself first. Lots and lots of sparkle. It's very nice. And while this dries, I will shimmer up the banners on my my card. And I cut out Happy Birthday with an MFT die called Cause for Celebration. And that will get a nice layer of glitter as well. Now I just have to figure out how to put it on the card. My first thought was to put it on the front piece, but the birthday is too wide. Yeah, I'm gluing on the bears. I'll be removing them later and putting them on again. And the same for the balloons. Putting them on, pulling them off, putting them on, pulling them off. But that's the great thing here. I can change my mind and change it again. Just have to be careful when you pull it apart, because this glue is actually quite nice. It holds nicely, just not when you want to change something. then you can get in trouble. One of my bears did lose the back piece of his leg, so to speak. But since the front layer was intact of the paper, the front layer of the paper where I had colored it, it didn't matter much. Now I actually thought I'd made too few things for this card, but I had a hard time getting everything to fit in there. And the balloon, well, it'll just be showing. I'll put this in a 15-15 envelope. So now I've taken out the... I lost the word again. The tab. And I'm gonna put the happy in the background and the birthday in the foreground, raised up on acetate. The happy will be directly on the background here. I just have to fiddle a bit with the banner to get it all in place. Then the birthday goes on here to make it stand up over the box. Because when you fold it, you have a little bit of extra room on both sides to hide the birthday, which is very nice. Oh yeah, here is where I pulled off one bear and I put a piece of acetate behind him because I had to cut off the little tabs I had saved when I fussy cut him out. Oh yeah, the dot over the eye. Don't forget that one. Then cutting the acetate to fit. And I have a floating birthday. Now I just have to figure out what to do with it and with the bear. And I have to take off the balloon. Putting it back on. Putting on the bear. And putting in the birthday. I really need a pair of camera spectacles for these cards. They're really hard to film sufficiently. Now I got my birthday in here. Just fiddling to get it in place. And there was a bit too much acetate on the front of the birthday there. And now I have to take out the other. This is the bear who loses the back piece of his cardstock. But he survives. I glue him on a piece of craft to give him more stability and to hide the leftover feet on my tab. And then glue him back in a bit higher so that you can actually see his face behind the birthday. This also means that his balloon will be sticking out of the card completely. And took out the balloon again to put it back in. Again. But like I said, change your mind, change it again. Doesn't matter, no one will really know, unless they watch the video, of course. Now I'm getting to a point where I like where my bears are at. I just have the balloon sticking out and well, I can solve that one with a bigger envelope. So now I wanted a decorative piece for the back panel of the, since it's not quite wide enough to look like it belongs. It's a bit skinny, but with this extra piece on the side, it fits perfect. It's hell writing on the back though. But I had put glue on the piece when I remembered that I actually had to write something on it, and well, I just have to be careful. I had a bit of stray cardstock I had to cut off there. Now here comes a homemade stamp I made, and some lawn fawn ink. This flag is the national flag. We use it a lot for birthdays and any kind of celebration actually. And I have cut out all of my cutting and stamping because I think I made 30 flags or something like that. Yeah, it'll be about 30 flags. It's just like I couldn't stop when I got moving. But I cut out most of it. But we hang these everywhere, especially for birthdays. So I figured that would make a great decoration for this card, because the flaps were a bit bare with just the pattern paper, and well, I wanted to emphasize the birthday. So as you see, it goes quite fast. It just, well, one too many, so to speak. You know, when you first get started, then all of a sudden you run out and you want more, and so I use my tweezers to place them because they're quite small. I really hope she likes the card. My friend. But I guess she will. And then here I'm drawing some lines to make it look like the flags are hanging from banners. It turned out quite nice in the end when I filled it up with flags all over. Oh yes. This is the third batch of flags I made actually. So, as you see, there are quite a few on there. And that's the card done. I hope you'll return for more videos soon.